friends, Uncle Marv here with another episode of the IT Business Podcast, the show for IT professionals and managed service providers. And my job is to help you run your business better, smarter, and faster. For this show, we are continuing on with our vendor profiles for everyone involved in the IT Nation PitchIT Incubator program. We are about midway through here, and the contestants are nearing the end of their boot camp, getting ready for everything, and all are hoping for a spot on stage as one of the final three in their quest to become the PitchIT champion for 2025. I have with me today somebody who was a part of this process last year, and I'm talking about Anup Ghosh, and he is with ThreatMate, a cybersecurity company specializing in continuous threat management for managed service providers. Anup, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Uncle Marv. Great to be back.
All right. Well, let me ask the obvious question. You came back. Why?
Wow. You know, I found PitchIT to be an amazing cohort program for startups in the MSP space last year. Certainly, there was a lot of learning that happened. And sometimes it's like when you take a course twice, you learn it better. I think this year, going back through it again, it's really hitting home. And part of that really is just walking those thousands of steps through all the MSP conferences, meeting everyone, understanding the real business pain points that MSPs face, and then going back through it again, it kind of hits differently. So that's been fantastic. Obviously, the opportunity to meet with folks like yourself and kind of get our brand out there is also a big deal.
Right. So when you guys went through this last year, you were kind of at the end of that freshman year, the first year, starting out in 2023. You've now had another second year to kind of get your feet wet in both the channel and the IT Nation PitchIT program. What have you learned from last year to this year?
Well, it's been a big year for us, and I think I attribute a lot of it to 2024 was a year that we spent building our platform, getting the feedback from our initial set of customers, and achieving product market fit. So I think of 2024 as a good year of learning from market to make sure we're building the right product that's addressing the pain point. So huge amounts of learnings in 2024. 2025 is when we really started going to market. So we hired our first salespeople. We now have a VP of sales and a sales team out selling ThreatMate. Very exciting for us. We are going to 25 shows this year. So more than likely, yeah, it's a big number, right? So kind of 2 a month is a pretty good cadence. But that's deliberate, right? We're hitting not only the big shows, but some of the regional ones, some of the boardroom type shows where you can get more intimate feedback from people you're talking to. And frankly, it's good for us to get our brand out there and get a lot of looks. So that's what we're doing this year. And we're in a position now where when we give a demo, we know typically we're addressing a real pain point that our MSP prospects have, and we're solving it for them. So demos turn into trials turn into deals. Onboarding is smooth now. We have an onboarding specialist that's making it really easy for our new customers, our MSPs, to get onboarded. And that's a recipe for success.
Yeah. So your product focuses on an area that we have known that we've had to dig into for a few years now, and most MSPs, understand something that they have to do, but still haven't embraced all of it. The idea of compliance as a service, automated pen testing, dark web monitoring, the whole idea of attack surface management is really starting to take shape here. I know you guys started on this a couple of years ago, but what has been the best feedback that you've heard from MSPs in the last year or so?
I think for me, sort of the moment of clarity was understanding that, in the MSP space, security is a necessary burden. In other words, MSPs do it because they have to. But there was a real opportunity that we saw and have jumped on, which is to put security out, take it out of the cost category and put it into the revenue category. And really bringing to market automated pen testing using AI is that driver for MSPs that allows them to address real pain points, right? Which is, how do I win new business, right? And in a market where everyone's message sounds the same, all of their prospects are getting similar, all MSP prospects are getting similar messaging, you need differentiators. And the beautiful thing about running an automated pen test on a prospect is you're going to find some really, interesting pain points on that prospect and be able to present a pretty comprehensive cybersecurity risk assessment, a laundry list of problems that they're having with their current MSP. Now, I feel bad for the current MSP for the one that's trying to take their business, but being able to go to a prospect and say, here's all the issues we found, here's the severity levels, here are the proof points that these are exploitable and someone could easily own your system. That's a very compelling report that you can present a prospect and win that prospect. So that to me is a real big deal. Now, once you've landed that prospect and they're now a client, we have the entire platform, that unified attack surface management platform. And what that allows you to do is turn that into a recurring revenue stream for that client, right? So you're doing continuous daily monitoring, understanding what new threats are emerging, what new vulnerabilities or other exposures do you have, and then how do you go address those before the adversary does?
Right. Now, I wanted to ask you, specifically the automated pen testing. Most of the products that I've either looked at or talked with, they're somewhere in between asset discovery and basic vulnerability scanning.
That's
and, maybe a little, CVE matching, what's missing and stuff like that. How close do you guys get to the full-blown exploitive pen test? Because those get up there. That's really not what, a lot of us do most of the time.
I think you've done a good job of describing kind of where the space is right now. And on the one end of the spectrum, you've got discovery tools and vulnerability scanning. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got actual human pen testers that are running exploits to, capture the flag. Where automation comes in is it allows you to approximate those humans, but do it comprehensively. Typically, in a human-led pen test, once they own a core machine and show access to valuable assets, it's kind of like game over, and they show you, hey, we won. What you really want is a comprehensive look, and automation allows you to get that also without those expensive humans. To your question, we do run asset discovery. We do run vulnerability discovery, but that's the front end of the process. You have to understand what the assets are on the network in the first place. Sometimes there are some interesting findings there. Second, you want to understand what the attack surface looks like. So that's where the vulnerability comes in, is understanding what are all those opportunities for an adversary. But it's very important. This is where I think legitimacy in the pen test comes in. It's very important that you actually run simulated exploits, right? So attack simulation. And what that tells you is not only is there a vulnerability, but we've been able to prove that we can exploit it, right? And so that to me is a delineating line between vulnerability tool and a pen test. A pen test shows you this particular attack simulation was able to compromise this machine. And from there, you would then begin to layer in attack graphs, right? Which is kind of the path that you could take to get from here to there. And that's where on our side, some of the AI pen testing comes in, is being able to do that planning on how to get from a point of entry to a high value target, and being able to chain together a number of assets that have been compromised to reach that objective, right? So that's at the high end of the spectrum of automated pen testing, being able to do that matches, kind of what a human-based pen test would do. But in this case, it would be more automated and comprehensive.
Okay. Was compliance as a service fully developed last year? I don't remember that for some reason.
It has not been.
Okay.
And what we're doing now is we're partnering with last year's winner of PitchIT, Sention, you may remember.
Yeah.
And we have a nice partnership with them where we are using Sention to drive CIS compliance on endpoints. And if going back to this theme again of, hey, security is a necessary burden, but you can actually drive revenue through security. And there's no doubt that compliance is a terrific way of doing that. Compliance keeps everyone honest, right? So it's not about, how good am I versus the next guy. It's saying there's a standard, right? And CIS is as good a standard as any of them. So if you can baseline your client's endpoints to CIS baselines, you're doing pretty good. So that's one partnership on the compliance as a service. Another one that we're rolling out natively to our platform is around M365 security compliance. As your listeners probably know, the M365 is the largest attack surface for most small businesses.
Absolutely.
Right. And so this is another space where if you're not baselining your security configuration, you're likely leaving yourself open to attack. And we're using the highest standard there. It's a standard published by CISA, the U.S. Cybersecurity Agency, and it's called Scuba Gear, for those of you who might dig into it. And so we'll be rolling that out this year, Microsoft 365 security baselines with Scuba Gear.
All right. I did note that you guys had done the partnership with Sention. It was sort of announced around the PAX 8 time, just before right. The kickoff of this year's PitchIT. I'm going to ask you this question. Was that kind of strategic in trying to get an upper hand into winning this year's PitchIT?
Oh, no. I honestly, I think of PitchIT as a great learning opportunity. I think everyone should think of it. It's one of these things where the journey is way more worth it than, winning the prize, if you will. So maybe we could talk to Zach about what the prize is, how the prize has changed his life. But I'll tell you that I do think that journey really matters. So I don't really think too much about winning PitchIT. I do think it's a fabulous network to be a part of. And I actually just like Sention. I like their value prop. I like what they're doing. And it was natural for us to want to integrate with their solution.
Very nice. Yep, I like Zach too. I like his hard hat.
Yeah. And his yellow vest. Yeah.
Yep, there. Yeah. So those were some pretty big announcements. And then you've got PitchIT now. Obviously, you're pushing forward to November. What is, I guess, a longer-term look for ThreatMate when it comes to cybersecurity landscape as a whole? Because AI is not going to make our jobs any easier.
That's a great point. I mean, you're bringing up both the challenge and the solution. So, AI, of course, is a tool, and the good guys and the bad guys have the opportunity to leverage AI, right? And so to a certain extent, you can think of it this way. We know the bad guys are already leveraging AI, and they've been very effective in crafting these phishing campaigns, just like you might use AI in your marketing, right, to help you craft marketing campaigns. They're doing the same thing, right? We've now seen more sophisticated uses of AI to find vulnerabilities, find zero-day vulnerabilities in software, and then generate the exploits for those. That's very high end, right? And that's something that used to be the privy of nation state adversaries only. Well, now it's getting in range for AI LLMs. Now, my point is, if you're not on the defensive side using today's technology and the technology going to tomorrow, you'll definitely be falling behind. And that's why, in terms of our roadmap and where we're going, we are pushing more AI capabilities out into our platform and also moving to an agentic architecture. And I see a real fit between agentic architectures and MSPs. I can see MSPs beginning to adopt agentic to accomplish tasks. It's a natural fit for the kinds of workflows that MSP operators actually use. So we're moving along with that as well. We'll be pushing out capabilities that our MSPs can use to run tasks with our platform using agents. And I think that's very exciting for where we're going in cybersecurity.
All right. One sidebar question here. How many times did you use the word agentic before PAX 8?
Before PAX 8, yeah, I haven't been pushing it out too hard, Mark, frankly. So in a certain sense, I don't want to get too far ahead of our capability. So we're now basically letting you and your audience know the direction we're going. But I think you're bringing up an important point. I was blown away at PAX 8 at how much they talked about agentic, right? And how much interest there was in the sessions. And that, to me, took it from academic to, wow, this market is gearing up for it, right? And so that's one of the benefits of going to a conference like PAX 8 is kind of understanding the pulse of where people are going and what they're thinking about. And even the hall conversations that I had, the hall con, as we call it, people were talking about it. So I walked away from that conference feeling like, no, we should push on agentic because this market is receptive to it, and I understand why.
Yeah, it is something that we have to pay attention to. Our space is more at risk than ever before because the bad actors out there know that our databases, our relationships with our vendors, all of our clients are inside of our portals and our platforms. So we as an industry, we need to get ahead of this as much as we can. And as you mentioned, be defensive, but at the same time, get offensive and see how we can use it to our advantage. So very good. Well, Anup, before we run out of time here, I want to make sure that I give you some runway. As we talked about, I'm trying to let everybody practice their first pitch here on the podcast. So I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to step back and let you have it.
Okay. Look, we see there's a couple of big pain points that MSPs have. The first one is winning new clients is harder than ever. You offer a great service, but you need to be able to prove before that first invoice that you're capable of delivering a differentiated service. There is no better way than to run an automated pen test on that prospect, show them the security exposures they have, deliver that cybersecurity risk report, and onboard them as a client, right? So where ThreatMate comes in is we give you those tools to run an automated pen test against new prospects to grow your business, right? And once you've onboarded that new client, you will be able to use ThreatMate to continuously monitor every attack surface for your clients. That's external attack surface, which everyone knows about, but also super important, it's that M365 or Google Workspace attack surface, which frankly is the most significant attack surface that adversaries are addressing today. And then behind the firewall, right? Being able to see what assets are behind the firewall, what those attack surfaces are, and how they can be exploited by adversaries. ThreatMate will give you all that information, but more importantly, will build out your remediation plan and tell you what to focus on so that you're not just looking at spreadsheets and buried in vulnerabilities. We tell you step by step, here's the number one thing to take care of this week. This is the most bang for the buck. It will reduce your risk the most while increasing your security score.
All right, folks, ThreatMate, the platform that's going to help you monitor, manage, and secure every attack service, external, internal, and the cloud from a single dashboard. Anup, thank you very much, and good luck in the PitchIT going forward.
Thanks so much, Mark. Great to be here again.
All right, and we'll look forward to seeing you out on the road. 25 shows. It's a lot. That's more than I'll do.
A lot of traveling.
And I think you, let's see, you were in ASCII in June, Exchange in July, and of course, we look forward to seeing you in Orlando this November at IT Nation Connect, and hopefully you'll be one of the final 3 on stage.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that's going to do it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Head over to threatmate.com and check them out a little bit more if you need help with your cybersecurity and your attack surface management. And then come back here every day this month. We are releasing one of the vendor profiles for this year's PitchIT 2025. That's it, folks. Come back, check us out. We'll see you soon. And until next time, holla.